about forgiveness, and one of the things that I said on one of my posts was, it's hard to forgive someone who's not even sorry for what they did to you. And so I heard a story that really intrigued me, and I'm going to attempt to retell the story, and it's talking about that. Here we go with this Facebook thing, always messing up my car videos. Anyway, story about forgiveness. I want to attempt to tell this story. I'm not the originator of this story. I'm just retelling it because it was so awesome of a story. I wanted to tell it in my own words. So, I tell you, decline that. All right, here we go. Y'all bear with me. I got something really heavy to get off. So, there was a story about this woman who integrated the South, black woman, and she moved to an all-white neighborhood. And in her experience, her next door neighbor, which was a white woman, would throw feces in her yard every single day because she didn't like her. And this went on for days and weeks and months and then years, till eventually the old white woman, or the older white woman, had a heart attack, and the first person to come and visit her in the hospital was the black woman whose yard she threw the feces in. Let me tell you about some things about people who they don't understand what they're doing in your life. She threw feces in the woman's yard every single day for years and years and years. This woman didn't complain. She took it with a grain of salt and she kept pushing. What happened was she went to go visit the woman in the hospital, and she had some roses with her. And the white woman asked her, she said, "Do you know that I am the one that threw feces in your yard every single day?" And she said, "Yes, I do know that." And she said, "Well, did you buy these roses from a florist shop? Because I didn't want you to spend no money on me because I've been so mean to you." And she said, "No, these roses came from the feces you threw in my yard. These roses grew from the feces you threw in my yard." See, understand that what the devil mean for your good, God will turn it around and flip it for the devil mean for your bad. What the devil mean for your bad, God will turn around for your good. So the woman threw feces in her yard every single day, and roses grew from the feces. And you have to understand that forgiveness is something that is vital to your existence. We have to forgive people. As we ask God to forgive us, we got to forgive other people. And so you have to think about Christ on the cross. The day before he was on the cross, he was performing miracles still. Everybody was praising Hosanna to the highest, and that was, singing his praises. And then he's on the cross, and he had to deliver the world's very first FU, saying, "Father, please forgive them, for they know not what they do." So when you got people that's trying to be mean-hearted to you, and it's already hard to forgive people, but forgiving somebody who's not even sorry for what they've done is even harder. But understand that when you take that and you forgive people, you will come out smelling like a rose on the other side. Now, who could have predicted that this hatred act that this woman was doing for years and years and years would produce something like a rose, and that she would be the first recipient of the rose that was grown from the feces that she threw in this woman's yard for years. My message to you is this. You have to think about all the things that you have done to God and that you have done against God, and you have sinned against your own self. To when people start coming against you and you don't want to forgive them, understand that forgiveness is not for them, but it's for you. One preacher explained forgiveness like this. Forgiveness is like you at a crime scene, and God has forgiven you for the crime that has been committed, and he has wiped the fingerprints from the crime scene. Every time you don't forgive somebody and you bring up that thing that they have done to you, you go back to the crime scene and you start touching things. And so now the devil is the accuser. He wants to accuse you and say he is guilty. And so when the police show up and you're at the crime scene with your fingerprints on it, who's going to jail? You are, because you are at the scene when you was already wiped clean. So understand that forgiveness is not for that person, it's for you. When you hold somebody hostage, it's like you a jailer and you're holding them and you got the keys to their cell. But guess who's in prison? You can't go home because you're watching them. So you have to do time just like them. When you forgive them, you take the power back from them. You give them the keys to the cell and you let them go about their business. And then both of y'all can live a prosperous life because you have now gotten that person out your spirit. Now, it's taken me 3 or 4 days to post this video because as I'm internalizing the forgiveness in my mind, I'm going to certain things in my life and certain times where I had a hard time forgiving. And every time I go to complain to God about somebody doing something to me, he always showed me a picture of the cross and said, if you can count up everything everybody has ever done to you wrong, and you put it on a sheet of paper, write it down, and then you count up everything that you have done against God and everything you've done against your own self, every time you have broken one of the commandments or lied or whatever, and you see which one's going to fill up first. And if you can endure the same punishment and beating that Jesus did to get on the cross, then you can complain. But if you can't, then you got to learn how to forgive. Because the Bible says that forgive us as we forgive our debtors. So it's a blessing and a curse, because if you are quick to forgive, then God will forgive you. But if you're slow to forgive, then God is going to be slow to forgive you. So understand that your forgiveness comes as a way to free yourself from any strongholds that anybody can ever put on you in your life. What the devil mean for your harm, God has a way that he can flip that thing around and turn it around for your good. If you are at rock bottom right now in your life because of something somebody else done, the only way to get out that hole is to forgive them, dust yourself off, and allow God to start healing your heart. I just posted a video a few hours ago about a man who rejected forgiveness from his wife who lied on him to his kids about raping them, and he refused to forgive her, but he has to process that in his own time. It was a very emotional video, and I even shed some tears because it was so heartfelt. I really felt this brother's passion behind how he felt about this forgiveness. But I wanted to leave this video with you all because as I'm going through my day-to-day, people hit me and things hit me all the time, and then sometimes I have something to say and sometimes I don't. But I wanted to just let you all know that the only way to come out smelling like a rose is to forgive the person who tried to leave you for dead. That's real talk. The one that tried to leave you for dead, you forgive them, you can move on to the next level. It frees you up, doesn't tie you into that mindset of, woe me, I'm the one that this, I'm the one that. You have to learn how to forgive people and move forward. Although the lady had a heart attack and was in the hospital, and you would think that her family would be the first person to come and visit her, but it was that woman who she did the harm to, or she tried to harm, was the one that came and seen her. And she came bearing gifts. She came bearing gifts of roses that was grown out of hatred. This is your boy Daniel Lyndon Evans. I'm on my way to a meeting, and I just wanted to get this little quick video for you all. Stay encouraged. And forgive others as you want God to forgive you. This is your boy Daniel Lyndon Evans. I'll talk to you soon. Have a blessed day.